You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket.
More fire, more heat.
Vegas scoreboard. Turn that shit up.
Waking you up early in the morning. I'm the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. We got a lineup for you today, guys. College football. Got him in studio. Ron, third down, best bets, VSX Digital Sports contributor and co-host. Good morning, Ron. How you doing?
Good morning.
There you go. Got you locked and loaded this morning again. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Got my guys on the line with me. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors CEO. Happy New Year to everybody out there rocking with us here. The final show of 2023. And, of course, my main man, Scotty, beam him up, Webb from the East Coast Sports Investors and MLBDaily.com. Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing?
Doing great, Jimmy. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. So glad to have you on the line with me. Scotty, you still there?
Yeah, man, I am. All good, ready to go.
There you go, getting locked and loaded. You guys can get locked and loaded with us here at Vegas Scoreboard Express. Again, go to my website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Go to my other website, JBTheTicket.com. You guys are going to have a great day today. We were locked and loaded yesterday in the NFL and in college football. We put cash in your pocket with our picks, and we're going to be breaking it down for you today. And, of course, everybody out there, Happy New Year. That's right, guys. Happy New Year. New Year's Eve. Be safe out there tonight. But when we get back from this short commercial break, we're going to get right into the action today, guys. December 31st, 2023. We know where the cash is at, so you guys keep it locked here with us. We're doing one thing. We're getting money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Kick off the football season with Drizzly.com. Score big with your favorite drinks delivered right to your doorstep. From ice cold brews to game day cocktails, we've got the perfect lineup for your football gatherings. Visit VegasScoreboardExpress.com and click the Drizzly. Now let's get the party started. Drink responsibly. Must be of legal drinking age. Delivery and availability may vary. That's right, waking you back up early in the morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express is back at you live, 107.1 FM, AM 1400, Spotify, TuneIn, Spreaker, Apple Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and rate. Download the show after the show because the show is live here right now on KSHP. Talking to my guys down in Tampa Bay. Again, Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Thank you so much for coming back on. You can follow him over on the X-Bird at Webby20MLB. And then, of course, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors with us here from the X-Bird at ECSI Invest. And, of course, Ron, third down best bets in the studio here with me. You can follow him on Instagram at RaiderHawk1. So, guys, it was an eventful day yesterday in college football. Saw something that I didn't think I would see in the Big Ten. Let's go ahead and get into it. You're talking about the Missouri Tigers over the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I know this game happened on Friday, but I wanted to mention it because, Jeff Dawson, you've been talking about Ohio State and some of these teams that we expected to get in. Last night, Florida State got mollywopped. Wow. Okay. These guys were not ready. And we knew they weren't ready. I told you guys the ACC wasn't ready, but just talking a little bit about the Big Ten now that they're adding in some teams from the West Coast, USC, UCLA, the performance of Ohio State in their game. And then we're going to follow up with the Florida State game. Are some of these Power 5 schools start maybe falling off towards the end of the season? It's something we haven't seen before. It's a new phenomenon. And what you have to expect here is it used to be you got to get in the top 5. Now with the playoffs expanded to 12 teams, how do you think this is going to pan out going into next season and then even finishing out? Just your thoughts on Ohio State, quarterback transfers, Kyle McCord. It's all across the NCAA, okay? Top players are opting out of bowl games. We saw it happen yesterday, and it heavily affected the Florida State Seminoles. But again, Ohio State, and then we'll get into Florida State, or you can combine them. Jeff Dawson, I'll throw this one at you, and then, of course, Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Get your thoughts on that. Go ahead, Jeff.
You know, I think everyone wakes up this morning and takes a look at what's going on, as you said, in the Big Ten and the ACC, and then, you know, obviously Michigan, Alabama. I just think that people are going to say, why would I even invest or wager my money on the Big Ten at this point? I think, you know, we're expanded to that 12-team playoff next week, which I think is great initially. But we talk about this all the time, JB, with the opt-outs, with the not playing because I'm going into the NFL draft, the NIL. Florida State, for instance, yesterday, over 20 people out. Damn. Ohio State didn't have Kyle McCord. Marvin Harrison didn't play. So as good as a regular season they had, it's just a shell of the team that played the regular season. It's really tough, JB, for the eyes.
Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Let's get your thoughts on this. You were down in Florida yesterday. You saw the debacle put on the field in the Orange Bowl from Florida State. They got absolutely mollywopped 63-3 by a Georgia Bulldogs team that I told you guys, out of the NCAA, out of the SEC, in the whole of college football, Georgia is the team that can reload. They are stacked deep, 3 deep, every single position. And I don't feel like they're going to be in a position next year with the expanded playoffs where they're going to get left out anymore. Top 4, top 3, the old BCS, it's all gone now. But that leaves us with the ACC. And when you talk about what's happened with the ACC over the past couple of years, again, Clemson wasn't that dominant this year, but they did win their bowl game. Scotty, how do you feel about this situation with the ACC and some of the Florida schools, a la Miami? They lost their bowl game as well. Florida didn't even qualify to get to a bowl. Where do you see this going? Go ahead.
Well, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know that I understand the, back when we were kids and stuff, and you watched these games and it was great that your school got into a bowl game and, the school got a lot of money and they did all this other stuff because of that. The reality becomes today that these are nothing more than really glorified scrimmages. I mean, I don't know what else to say because they're not the same teams. They don't have the same motivations. They don't necessarily. And one team might go out there to try to win the game, maybe, and the other team just goes out there to see what next year's kids will look like and give them extra practice time and give them, extra game situations. So I'm not sure exactly what to totally expect from what the bowl games mean. Maybe with an expanded playoffs, there'll be 12 teams that really want to try to win a national championship. So those 12 teams will compete a little bit harder and have all their players there. Maybe, I don't know. There's two sides to look at this, right? So my personal opinion is that the bowl games are almost, I wouldn't say worthless, but they're almost no value to them. But I think it's kind of like the other side of that is, if you're gonna have your quarterback transfer, like say Ohio State's quarterback transfers out, well, you need to get your next guy in line a little playing time. So this gives them extra practice. It gives them extra time to see what they have and see what they need to work on, and put them in a game situation and see what happens. So I don't know exactly what to call it. It's not preseason NFL football, but it's pretty damn close.
Well, man, I'm telling you, the college football landscape has got to figure it out. There were some comments last night from ESPN analyst Joe Tessitore. Seems like he's piggybacking on the things that I've been bringing up over the past couple of weeks. Going to the NCAA, I'll throw this one at you, Ron. Third Down Best Bets live here in studio. He's been chomping at the bit. He's over there flexing, cracking the knuckles, getting ready to get this grease going. We talk about it from the NCAA's perspective, and you know that the NIL, they can no longer regulate the kids getting the money. However, I think that they're going to crack down on all the transferring, all the sitting out, because if they don't, it's going to start affecting the product, which is the meat and potatoes of NCAA cash and college cash, which is college football. So going over to you, Ron, third down, when you see kids getting able to transfer out and sit out bowl games, not all-star games, okay? We can kind of understand that, all right? You don't want to play in the East-West game, the Shrine Bowl, something like that, if you're a high draft pick, barring possible injury. But your team, you play all season to become bowl eligible, and then at the very end of the season, you're like, oh, that ain't the bowl I wanted, I ain't playing. I'm going to put my name in the transfer portal, and we got to get up out of here. We're blowing the whole thing up. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I think maybe less bowls. It's really watered down now. I mean, you have bowls for everything, and you almost get a bowl just showing up, And if you cut those down, you're going to have more incentive to play hard to want to get to a bowl, make it more important again.
But we've also seen it from teams that have stellar records, winning records, top 5, Power 5 teams. You're talking about kids right now who see the money, and they're going for the money. And when you mention it from the perspective of head coaches as well, saw a ton of head coaches get fired, and their teams are bowl eligible. So my question to you, I'll throw this one at you, Jeff Dawson. Do you think the NCAA is going to switch the transfer portal time, switch the opt-out time until after the final game of the season, which, if you're bowl eligible, includes your bowl game? Okay, kid, if you want to sit out, you sit out. But there has to be some sort of incentive or some sort of regulation, because fans and sports bettors now are taking heavy losses based on the fact that players that we watched all season do their thing, try to get their draft pick up, decide not to play. And it's a bowl game, something that every single coach uses to recruit these kids to show up to their universities. And then how do you convince them to play in the bowl game? Look, for the last 4 years, we've been bowl eligible. You know that word eligible. You always got to say that. And then these kids don't want to play. Jeff Dawson, go ahead.
I think we've created a monster. I mean, I go back, what was it, 20, 30 years, actually probably 30 years ago, when we watched Blue Chips with Nick Nolte and Shaq and Penny and all those guys. This is 30 years later on steroids here. I don't think they'll change the dates. I really don't, because as you guys have been saying, these bowl games are just watered down. I mean, you got 12 top teams next year, so there's 6 games right there. I mean, we don't need 43 bowl games, and you don't want to force someone to play, and then they get hurt, and now they don't get to go to the NFL, yada, yada, yada. So I think we're stuck with what it is, and I just hope, as Ron said, we don't need 43 bowl games. Cut it in half, because I think the bowl games will be irrelevant next year. Anyway, JB.
Man, college football, I hope you're listening to us. Vegas Scoreboard Express, live on KSHP 107.1, the boss of the big board, the top sports show here in Las Vegas, waking you up each and every weekend at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here. Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Any quick shout-outs before I take this commercial break? Jeff Dawson, your shout-outs, of course, Ron, third down, best bets, because when I come back from this short commercial break, we're bringing him on the line with us, Ronnie B., Chief Handicapper for JBTheTicket.com. Go ahead, Scotty.
Yeah, I just want to make a shout out to my brother. My brother from Ohio is down in town celebrating New Year with me. So happy New Year.
There you go. Happy New Year, everybody out there. Jeff Dawson, go ahead.
What a shout out to the Atlanta Braves and their GM for trading for Chris Sale. Adios, Chris.
Said you got to get him out of there, everybody out here. That's right, Vegas Scoreboard Express. When we get back from this short commercial break, Ron, your shout-outs, and we're going to get back into the grease with Ronnie B. from Las Vegas. Go ahead, Ron.
I'm going to go with the family as well. My brother Richard, his wife Carrie, and my sister Joni, and her husband Tim. Happy New Year, everybody.
That's right. Happy New Year. Keep it locked and loaded here. JB the Ticket, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, 107.1 FM, KSHP, AM 1400 on your radio dial. If you're in the car, get up, get after it, and let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you grease. Skip your cable bill this month. Enjoy the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
The Farmer's Burger from Farmer Boys. Beef, bacon, cheese, hand-smashed avocado, and fresh veggies. Best burger champ. That's how we drop the mic. Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food. Farmer Boys' new always crispy fries stay crispier and tastier all the way home. If they make it home.
Sharing is caring.
Farmer Boys. Farm food ain't fast food.
In times of war and peace, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. We salute those who have given their lives for our country. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten.
This salute is courtesy of Mac and Grill Cheese Factory, serving our area with quality and pride. For a fantastic meal, stop by 1331 West Warm Springs Road in Henderson, or call them at 725-214-4140. That's 725-214-4140. Mac and Grill Cheese Factory, on the air reminding everyone that we live in the land of the free thanks to our brave.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
More fire, more heat.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy, JB the Ticket. Always spitting that explosive fire. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that green.
That's how you come on the radio. When you're talking sports here in Las Vegas, don't come weak. You come correct. You come with JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express. Got him on the line, my main man, Ronnie B. Las Vegas, JBTheTicket.com, Chief Handicapper. Good morning, Ronnie B. How are you doing, brother, out there in Las Vegas? Good morning.
Good morning, JB. We're doing good this morning. It's the end of the year, and let's make some money today.
That's what I'm talking about, putting cash in your pocket. Again, you can go over to JBTheTicket.com, buy Ronnie B's package, $19.99. Again, Happy New Year to everybody out there in Radio Land listening to us this morning, live on KSHP, AM 1400, 107.1 FM. Of course, I still got him on the line with me, Jeff Dawson, and Scotty, beam him up, Webb, from the East Coast Sports Investors. So, guys, we were talking a little bit of college football in the first half hour. I wanted to go over a couple of the games that we had yesterday. We want to get deep into it again, talking about this college football playoff because we got the New Year's Six coming up tomorrow. Again, guys, watch those games on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JP. I'm giving you 15% off and 7 days free, so I'm actually giving you the game to watch for free. If your cable bill is due and you ain't got the bread, get over there and get that Fubo TV. So we talked about it over the past few weeks, how Florida State was left out and everybody was very, very, up in arms down in the state of Florida. Scotty, don't mean to ruffle your feathers, but Florida State yesterday, man, that was some dog poo that they put on the field. Garbage, as Coach Prime would like to say. 63-3, mollywopped by Georgia. Georgia starting another win streak after their 45-40 game 7 win streak, whatever that they had there. But the Georgia Bulldogs making a statement going into the year of the expanded college football playoff. But let's talk about this ACC, because when you look at where the ACC has gone in the bowl series, this postseason college, if you will, it hasn't boded well for them. All of their teams are getting smacked. Talk to me about it. Ronnie B., go ahead.
Well, the ACC is a little bit looked at as a weaker division, but yesterday that game was a give-up game. Those kids didn't play, they didn't show up. A lot of them sat out. I think they were disappointed with the voting of the committee, so it showed on the field. And that's the sad part about the portal. It's taking away some of these bowl games' desire to win.
You talk about these kids as well when you mentioned their lack of drive to play. It's so weird because they all want to get recruited. They all want to be 5-star, 4-star. And then you see the entitlement position of them just giving up on their team, giving up on the school. I don't want to play. I don't want to do it. Throw this one at you, Ron, here in studio. Ron Third Down Best Bets. Again, follow him over at Raider Hawk. You went through a lot in 2023. To see you here the final day of the year, this man is resilient, and he is a VSX insider and contributor here for as long as he wants to be. But let's talk about the entitlement of these kids, the NIL. We started that conversation over 2.5 years ago. Shout out Linwood Hard Rock Hamilton, defender of the youth. He had his image stolen. Okay. Value, NIL, kids opting out, kids quitting. How is that value for marketing dollars coming in? If you give a guy $1 million and then he doesn't get the right bowl game and he decides, well, you know what, I don't want to play. I'm hearing clawbacks on the money side, and I'm hearing a possibility of the NCAA. I know they've got their think tank working. Go ahead, Ron Third Down.
Yeah, I think they should include the NIL in their deals for bowl participation. There should be less pay. If you don't play, you're not getting paid.
There you go. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's what happens in the real world. If I don't show up 5:45, 5:30 in the morning each and every weekend here, KSHP AM 1400, we're not getting paid. We're not getting any information for our sponsors. And most importantly, we're not giving the grease here to the fans in Las Vegas and around the world who listen. So I'm going to throw this one at you, Scotty. Beam them up, Webb, because a lot of the problem seems to be in the state of Florida with college football. It was a dominant state for over 50 years, but now in the past 15 years, we've seen a lot of trouble out of the teams that have always been stalwarts. The Florida Gators, Florida State Seminoles, Miami, some of the upstarts, University of South Florida starting to fall off. Central Florida is not getting it done. Talk to me about what's going on down in your state, and then we'll jump into some of this NFL. Go ahead.
Well, some of these situations are all about the coaches. So, if you're going to build a program and say like what they're doing in Georgia right now with Kirby Smart, you've got to have consistency throughout the whole reign of what you're doing. Meaning that your people that are helping the college get to where they need to go, they need to be in support too. And down here in Florida, I don't know that you're running into that. And one of the things that you run into in Florida too is, a lot of the kids that play football in high school down here, they're really good kids in terms of talent. But the schools have lost those recruits to other places throughout the United States. So, a kid goes to Ohio State, or a kid goes to Michigan, or he goes to, Clemson or somewhere else, and he's not playing in Florida anymore. And that never used to happen. It used to be where, the Bobby Bowdens and what's the guy's name that ran Florida forever? Well, those
Steve
guys,
Spurrier.
Yeah, they didn't lose recruits. And that's what you have now. You have these guys losing recruits to the better programs. So I think that it's just a building mechanism down here, and the kids are still here. The good high school players are still here. They just don't go to the schools in Florida anymore. So they go off and become whatever at other places.
We have seen it too many times. There used to be something called the State of Florida. Shout out to ESPN for their documentary when they were still doing good sports stuff, the U Part 2 and the U Part 1. They talked about it, that, I-40 corridor. They tried to cordon it off. But let's move into some of the NFL action again. Being brought to you by our friends, FuboTV.com/JB. The NFL, it's been an eventful year. I'm looking at the playoff standings right now. We've got 4 teams who have clinched a wild card or a playoff position. You got the Ravens, the Browns, you've got the Bills and the Dolphins in the AFC. And then when you go over to the NFC, you've got the Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers, and the Lions. So we still have that NFC South still undecided. And we're going to go back to you, Scotty, beam 'em up, Webb. When you look at where the NFC South is today, you've got the tie-break game on the line. Rotation number 121, the New Orleans Saints. They're heading out to Tampa Bay today to take on the Buccaneers, -2.5. Rotation number 122. The total is 42.5. This one is for all the marbles. This is the game that has to be won to determine who represents the NFC South in the NFL playoffs. Now, when you saw what Baker Mayfield was able to do last year, I think he's a good bet on a ticket for Comeback Player of the Year. He's got these guys knocking on the playoffs door, but they have to win out at home. So, Scotty, beam him up. Webb, break it down for us. You think Baker Mayfield can put that cash in your pocket? Go ahead.
Well, this is a little bit of a tricky game for me today because the Saints are going to have to play on the road here, and the Saints are, they're a team that plays in the Dome. And Tampa Bay's been playing so well, and I do think that Baker Mayfield's made a big difference for this team. It's also a spot here, I think, where the numbers and the data and all the points and everything say, hey, you know what, you can ride with Tampa Bay and you can do all these different things. But my concern is that this is a divisional game. It's a matchup of teams that know each other pretty well. And Tampa Bay beat the crap out of New Orleans the first time they played them in New Orleans. And this is a New Orleans team now with triple revenge. So this is a spot where that's not what I would consider the best for Tampa Bay. I think this game opened at something like -3, and it's now -2.5. So when it comes to how you bet the game, I think it becomes very difficult to sit there and go, well, that 3 is a key number, so you can't really take the dog at +2.5. And I don't really want to play the favorite at -2.5. So I think you have to try to figure out how to put a teaser in play here and take New Orleans in the points in a teaser.
That's a low price.
He's telling you he likes New Orleans in a teaser. Jeff Dawson, I'm going to throw this one over to you. And then Ronnie B in Las Vegas. Tampa Bay has to win out today. I've got my money on Tampa Bay. That's my pick of the day. They should be a dog. They're at home. They're playing against a New Orleans team that's been banged up all year. They've had quarterback questions as well. You've always got Jameis Winston lurking back there. Not going to really see a miracle game out of him if he gets put in there. But Baker Mayfield, he's got to keep it together. He is one of the few starting quarterbacks who's maintained on the field. And we talked about this. Every team in the playoff has their starting quarterback maintained for the duration of the season. So throwing this one at you, Ronnie B here in Las Vegas. Tampa Bay Buccaneers must win for them. 68% of the money is on them. The total opened at 41. It's gone up to 42.5. I'm looking at a 30-20 game here. Tampa Bay taking it down. Go ahead.
Well, JB, I'll tell you what, I'm going to disagree with you on the side, but I do agree with you on the total. I think New Orleans and Mr. Derek Carr is going to have a good game today based on Tampa Bay's pass defense. They give up quite a few yards in the air, and I think that's where the difference is going to be today. If Carr has a good game, I think the Saints walk home with this one.
Telling you the Saints might walk home. Jeff Dawson, let me throw this one over to you. When you talk about the New Orleans side of the ball, and you look at a guy like Derek Carr, long in the tooth, late in his career, they're going to be at 8-8. Okay, so there's going to be a tiebreaker there with power points. A lot of people don't even know the NFL has that, but you got to look at your stat sheet, people. Jeff Dawson, Tampa Bay's got to win it today. Rotation number 122. If you look at the betting public, they're taking Tampa Bay 68% money line. So if you're scared to take them 2.5, I'm thinking you might be able to get a buy down here for a relatively close price, 168 instead of the 110. For a -1 instead of -2.5. But I really like Tampa Bay here. They have to get to the playoffs. And New Orleans, sad to say, they don't have to really do anything. Jeff Dawson, go ahead.
I'm going to kind of piggyback off for Scotty and Ronnie here. Hats off to Baker Mayfield. In August, I was not one of his fans, shouting from the rooftops here that look out for Baker, especially come the stretch drive. He has been phenomenal, almost like a resurgence and a rebirth of Joe Flacco, which we'll get into later today. It's easy, JB, when you're the underdog and not expected to win. You have seen, everyone here has seen what Baker looks like as a favorite, is like now he's expected to win. And even though I'm not a Derek Carr fan, even though, I don't like where the Saints are, I think they are so dangerous. This is a perfect revenge spot on the road. No one expected them to win. I think you'll see Alvin Kamara have a big day. Keep an eye out for a sneaky A.T. Perry, maybe Juwan Johnson, and the struggling Saints, D. I think I'm pulling for the Bucks, JB, but I think the Saints get them at the wire.
He said the Saints get him at the wire. Ronnie B here in Las Vegas. Again, go to his website at jbtheticket.com. Click his link. Ron, third down best bets here in studio. When you talk about the New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is the one game that I've got circled because, in my opinion, it's the most important game on the line today. Winner of this game goes to the playoffs. Do you really think Tampa Bay is going to fight and scrape to get down here to go end up at 8-8 and lose a playoff tiebreaker to New Orleans when the New Orleans Saints already have a losing record at 7-8? 4-10 against the spread. How many times do I got to tell you? Buccaneers 10-5 against the spread, 4-3 at home. That dog that should be the dog, which is the Buccaneers, is barking. New Orleans, I'm not seeing it. Go ahead.
I like Tampa Bay as well at home in this game. They got the incentive on their side, and Baker Mayfield has played a lot better than Derek Carr. Go Bucks.
Telling you, go Bucks. When I get back from this short commercial break, it's a split consensus on New Orleans and Tampa Bay. If you want more picks, EastCoastSportsInvestors.com, MLB-Daily.com. That's where you can find Jeff and Scotty Beam 'em up Webb, respectively. Give you guys a round of shout-outs here. Ronnie B, Las Vegas, JBTheTicket.com, Chief Handicapper. You guys are going to want to pick up his last weekend package. He's got the play of the day. We'll get to it before we end the show. But go ahead, Ronnie B, start off your shout-outs.
We're going to give a shout-out to Seiko over at the Marriott. Happy New Year to you. Hope a good year for 2024 for you.
There you go. Happy New Year over to all the folks at the Marriott Rampart Casino. Ron, third down best bets in studio. Quick shout-out. And guys over at East Coast Sports Investors, you hang on the line because I got to bring on the guy that everyone's been waiting to see, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook and RotoWire.com.
He's listening right now, man. Dab Master 1, Eric Alexander Masters.
There you go, Eric Alexander Masters. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. When I get back from this short commercial break, guys, we're bringing him on, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook, and we've got the plays to put the cash in your pocket, so you keep it locked here with me. And we're going to do one thing, get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Jumpers Jungle Family Fun Center is an indoor children's jump and party space in Las Vegas located at 2050 South Rainbow Boulevard. Kids of all ages can come and jump on our bouncers, race through the obstacle courses, speed down the mega slides, slam dunk into the basketball hoops, and much more. Are you looking for that perfect birthday party venue? Look no further. Jumpers Jungle has a party package that will fit your needs. Check out the open play schedule online at jumpersjungle.com or call 702-463-JUMP. It's time to jump your way to fun at Jumpers Jungle on the corner of Oakey and Rainbow.
Fire, more heat.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Giving you that great Vegas Scoreboard Express. Always spitting that explosive fire.
Waking you back up early in the morning. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. Getting you where you want to be, guys. You guys got to lock and load with us each and every Saturday and Sunday in the new year, changing the time. We're going to be coming on from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Going to be dropping some basketball grease for you at the end of the football season, the big game here in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Also going to get those technical difficulties taken care of. Believe it. New year, new studio, new grease. Got to get that taken care of, man. I got him on the line with me, my main man, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook and RotoWire.com. Good morning to you, John Ryan. How you doing?
On the New Year's Eve. I almost said Christmas Eve. What the heck am I doing?
And I almost left your microphone down. People couldn't hear you, man. I'm waking up early each and every day. Happy New Year to you. Everybody out there listening, John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. Follow him on the X-Bird at John Ryan Sports 1, and you can check him out over on his website, predictivesportsbettingplaybook.com. So this is the game we want to get into today. Very important for the fans out here in Las Vegas. The Raiders are trying to squeak out a miracle, a prayer in the AFC West. Maybe get that wild card if a few good things happen today. Talking about rotation number 113 heading out to Indianapolis. Rotation number 114, the Colts and the Raiders. Now the Raiders on the road at 7-8, 3.5-point dogs. I think the dog is barking, but Indianapolis shockingly has a better record than we thought they would have. One game over 500, 8-7, 3-4 at home. The Raiders not too good on the road at 2-5, but Coach Pierce has got these guys playing top of the line. Okay, we saw what they did against the Chargers, and then we saw what they came back and did against the Kansas City Chiefs. So hats off. And I told my guy Mark Hayes here, KSHP, AM1400.com, that the hardest game they would have to win would be Kansas City. Now, I don't think they're going to go out to Indianapolis and roll another donut, but I do think it's going to be hard fought. You've got the Indianapolis Colts there in the AFC South trying to maybe figure out if they can get something going with the Jaguars somewhat faltering. So let's talk a little bit about it, John Ryan. The Raiders, they've got to win out for the season to get to 8-8 today. 9-8 could squeak them in if good things happen this week. This is the most important week in pro football for playoff implications. Go ahead.
Well, I do like the Raiders today, JB, and question the line is only 3.5, 4 points here, and I think that's telling you that the Raiders are playing a pretty good game of football right now, and don't have too much to lose. So I would consider betting like 80% of your normal betting amount on the Raiders pre-flop, and then look in-game to get 7.5, maybe even 9.5 if the Colts score first. And there's a betting system I'll share with you that's pretty stellar. We're betting on home underdogs of 3.5 to 9.5 points that have committed no more than a single turnover in each of their last two games, facing a host coming off a game in which they did not force a turnover. 31-36 straight up. That's almost 500 right there as a dog. 48-19 against the spread for 72% over the last 10 seasons. If the game is taking place in the second half of the season, JB, and is a non-divisional matchup, our Road Warriors gone 17-15 straight up, 25-7 against the number for 78% over the last 10 seasons. So I'm riding the Raiders today with a premium bet.
He's telling you he's riding the Raiders today, premium bet, 80% of your bankroll. Watch this game on Fubo TV. I'm going to throw this one at you, Ron, third down, best bets here in studio. The Raiders, they've got to win today. It's a road game. They played hard the last 2 weeks. Do you think they've got enough gas to go out to Indianapolis today and win by 1, lose by none? They've got the plus side today as the dog, plus 3.5. When you talk about it from a money line perspective, though, do you think there's any value looking at the Raiders on the money line? Because I think right now you can get them 185, 175. Where do you find the value on the total? Because that's where we've had some changes. We see the Raiders come out, drop 50-some points. They come back, win, but they're still under that 20. Okay? They got the win last week, but it was a tougher win. The defense had to win it for them. That offense has been quite tepid, okay? We gave David O'Connell a lot of grease beginning of the season. He's got to put the ball in Devontae Adams' hands today. I think that is going to be the key. But the Colts defense is a lot better than we think in the secondary. That's why I think that they've also have a position in their division to possibly go to the playoffs. But Ron, third down, go ahead.
Well, the Colts are a good team, and I think it's going to be a really hard-fought game. But Mr. Minshew is going to meet Mr. Crosby and Mr. Kuntz. Mr. Crosby, Mr. Kuntz. It's going to be pretty crazy. They're going to be all over him. He hasn't had a double rushing sword like that all year long. The Raider defense has been underrated. They're playing really good. They're knocking the poop out of people. And I just like how they're running the ball. Aiden is not turning the ball over. He's being efficient. He's not making mistakes. He's not costing him games. He's not winning him games, but he's not costing him games.
That's very important. I'm going to throw this one at you, Scotty, beam him up, Webb down in Florida. When you look at this particular game, when the talk about the Raiders again coming out, possibly fighting for a playoff spot, rotation number 113, Las Vegas Raiders +4, +3.5, depending on where you get it, +165 on the money line, total 42.5. Where do you see this one going, Scotty? Because the Indianapolis Colts, again, they're breathing down the necks of your Jacksonville Jaguars down there, another Florida team trying to get into the playoffs that we thought would be a little bit more dominant. Haven't been. Trevor Lawrence has been somewhat of a disappointment. Thought it would be a progress year. We haven't seen it. -4. How do the Colts come in and get this win today for their needs to get a playoff run? Go ahead, Scotty.
Well, you might not know this about me, but when I was a kid, a long time ago, at this point, I was an Oakland Raider fan. Been an Oakland Raider fan all my life. Other than obviously with what I do now, you have to have a little more less fandom. But I've always been a Raider. So what I'm going to say though is I'm probably going to disagree with your other two guys that had spoke here. The Raiders haven't beat the Chiefs, and I don't know how many times they played them. What is it? I don't know, like 16 times. So they go out, they beat the Chiefs in Kansas City. Head coach starts crying on the field, and cries in the press box. That's their Super Bowl, man. They went out there and laid it all on the line. They did everything they could do to win that football game. And the truth of the matter about the Raiders is the Raiders haven't scored an offensive touchdown in two of the last 3 games. So I agree with the idea that the Colts are the favorite in this game. I think the Colts are a team that came off of a bad loss last week against Atlanta. I think that's a good bounce back spot for them. And I think this is a spot where the Raiders spent whatever they had, and they spent everything that they had to win that game last week. And they're going to come in pretty flat today. And I think the Colts cover the number, and I think you can bet them any way you want them.
He said the Colts are going to cover that number. Again, Scotty, beam him up, Webb, East Coast Sports Investors. Thank you so much for your contributions on that. Again, I didn't know you were a Raider. Raider Nation, again, representing here, Vegas Scoreboard, Express.com. He made some very good points about the offense. I'm going to throw this one to you, Ronnie B., here in Las Vegas. You talk about the Raiders not able to get that scoring going, and their offense has been tepid. Already switched away from Jimmy Garoppolo. He's doing a fashion show on the sideline. How do you think the Raiders can get that ball back in the air and start scoring like they did versus the Chargers when a team doesn't come in and lay down? Go ahead.
Well, they're going to need a different quarterback for that. But I have two best bets today, and this is one of them. I'm on the Colts strong today. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to come out smoking. I think Michael Pittman. They got the home crowd in the Dome. I come from Indiana and planted in Vegas, so my heart is in both spots. But I just don't see the offense with Vegas. They scored 6 points last week offensively. The Colts defense is strong, doesn't get enough notice, but I'm going with Colts. I'm going with Minshew. If he has to run around and scramble from those two guys, he's dangerous. So go with the Colts. That's one of my best bets today.
He's telling you go with the Colts. That's one of his best bets on the line. Again, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. That's what you're listening to live here, 107.1 FM, AM 1400 in Las Vegas, around the world on TuneIn, Spotify, Apple, you name it. So we're talking to NFL, getting ready to come back from this short commercial break. Going to jump into the New Year's 6, guys. This is the last show of the year for Vegas Scoreboard Express. So we want to take the last 10 minutes and talk a little bit more college football. If you want the rest of our picks, you can go to our respective websites. John Ryan, PredictiveSportsBettingPlaybook.com. Ronnie B here in Las Vegas, JBTheTicket.com, VegasScoreboardExpress.com for my main man, Ron, Third Down Best Bets, and, of course, East Coast Sports Investors for Jeff Dawson. Scotty, beat him up, Webb at MLB-daily.com. Did I get everybody's website right?
You did good.
That's right. I broke it down from memory. I didn't get you on this segment, Jeff, but I'm going to do it right now. Quick 1-minute call. We're talking about another game today that is on the line that has some playoff implications. Those Jacksonville Jaguars are playing the hapless Panthers. It's going to be a cat fight down in Jacksonville. 8-7, -4. Trevor Lawrence hasn't shown me anything, and neither has Bryce Young. This is going to be a pick fest. Who do you think pulls this one out, and do you think the Jaguars can finally get that edge in the AFC South with the Colts playing the Raiders today? This is a game that's going to have more playoff implications. Jeff Dawson, your thoughts, and then I'll go straight to commercial break. Go ahead.
No Trevor Lawrence, so C.J. Beathard versus Bryce Young. The number actually smells, a number that opened at 7.5 early in the week, now down to 3.5. Some 4s with a 37. I'm going to grab the points. I'm going to grab Bryce Young over C.J. Beathard in this spot. I think it'll be a close game. This is your first one to 2017 final, but +4 sounds a lot better to me.
He's telling you +4 sounds a lot better, going with that dog in the hapless Carolina Panthers. But you're talking about C.J. Beathard, another backup quarterback. That has been the theme in the NFL this season. You guys keep it locked with me here, JB the Ticket. When I get back from this short commercial break, we're going to make it happen and bring you into the new year with the picks that pay. Talking about that New Year's 6, guys, so keep it locked here with us. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease. Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
The best choice for convenience, comfort, and value, My Place hotels are ideal for both short-term and long-term travelers. The rooms at My Place features pillow-top mattresses, microfiber bedding, and a variety of soft and firm pillows. All extended stay rooms offer their own kitchen, which includes a full-size refrigerator and a cooktop. On-site laundry facilities are also available for extended stays at pet-friendly My Place hotels. Book your stays online at myplacehotels.com. My Place Hotels, St. George and West Jordan, Utah. Make My Place your place.
JBTheTicket.com, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. I'm back at you live here, KSHP 107.1 FM, waking you up early each and every Saturday and Sunday in 2023 at 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. This year, we're coming back 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific time, guys. So be sure to change your clocks, your schedule. Next week, we're coming on a little bit later. Going to be bringing you some grease early in the morning. Still on the weekend, got some surprises for you here. And again, you guys are rocking with us, talking this New Year's 6 Bowl. Got my guys on the line with me. Scotty, beam him up, Webb, East Coast Sports Investors, MLBDaily.com. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors CEO. I've also got Ronnie B, my main handicapper from JBTheTicket.com. Ron, Third Down Best Bets co-host and contributor here in studio. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook on the line. And I want to give a shout out to my main man, Troy West, and Brian Snow from Snowman in the Morning out in Indiana. Thank you guys for your contributions this year. Also, Rodney Newpel out in Peoria, Illinois. So let's talk a little bit about this college football, the Big Four games, the Big Two, Big Four teams. Let's go into it. Rotation number 279, the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is the Rose Bowl for the Roses out in Pasadena. They're playing Michigan. Rotation number 280. Shout out Dr. Steve, professor representing Michigan. -1.5. The Wolverines are in a favored position. 45 is the over-under. I'm going to throw this one over to you at Jeff Dawson, CEO of the East Coast Sports Investors. Let's talk a little bit about it. Got about 3 minutes left in the show. I like Alabama in this game. I know, Dr. Steve, you're not going to be too happy about that, but Alabama, they got a quarterback with a chip on his shoulder in Jalen Milroe, and you're going against the head coach of Nick Saban. Now, if I think there's anyone who could be a winner against Saban, it would be Harbaugh, but these guys aren't able to share any signals. Go ahead, Jeff Dawson, 30 seconds, and then I'll go around the board.
We're in a great spot here at ECSI. Mid-October, when Bama was playing Arkansas, we sent out on DraftKings, grab Alabama plus 2,000. So we're sitting in the catbird seat right now. So we have some Michigan plus 250s to win it all. The winner of this game, I think, will win the national championship. It's a coin flip. So I'm kind of hedged, but if you put a gun to my head, I think Harbaugh gets some 24-23. How's that?
Telling you, win by one, lose by none. Ron, Third Down Best Bets. Your thoughts on this game, 30 seconds.
Alabama all the way. They just got too much talent, a little bit bigger than Michigan, a little bit more prepared, haven't had all the turmoil that Michigan's had this year. I like Alabama.
He's rolling with the Crimson Tide, and JB, the ticket. Throwing this one over to you, Ronnie B, Las Vegas. How do you see this one panning out? 30 seconds. Go ahead.
John Harbaugh, Michigan, goes out with a win.
Telling you, he's going with Dr. Steve and the Michigan Wolverines. I'm going to throw this one at you, Scotty, beam him up, Webb, down in Tampa Bay. The total, I want somebody to give me a total, 45.5. I think it's going to be a defensive scrum. I didn't see Michigan do a lot from the offensive side, and I have seen them play some very, very good defense to get to this point. They played against an Iowa team in the Big Ten championship that they should have blown out, but Iowa's got a strong defense, just no offense. Where do you see it going? Go ahead, Scotty, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to side with the Alabama side here. I just think that you're getting points and they're pretty even, but they're more athletic. So I'm going to go that way. Plus, I think they got a better coach there, so I'm going to go that direction.
Telling you, roll with that Crimson Tide. John Ryan, Predictive Sports Betting Playbook. We're going to go over to a different game. Rotation number 281, the Texas Longhorns. That was the big controversy, -4, but they are in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans going up against Washington. Rotation number 282, the Huskies have been the big play of college football. The Pac-12 champions moving along to, where are they going? The Big Ten?
Big Ten.
Big Ten, there you go. So technically, you got quite a few Big Ten teams in here. Big Ten, Big 12, and SEC, just the way they wanted it. 30 seconds, Washington, Texas. Who do you like?
I'll make it simple, JB. I mentioned it last week and the week before. I have Texas to win it all. I think they're going to steamroll Washington. I also think in that other game, you can't forget that Nick Saban is the much better head coach here against Harbaugh. There's no question in my mind about that. Alabama's 8-1 in games played in December and January when they are the lower-ranked team. So I think Michigan's in big trouble.
Well, telling you, he thinks Michigan is in big trouble. Guys, that's a wrap for us. Thank you so much for listening all year long here in Las Vegas and around the world. Be sure to go to our website, jbtheticket.com, vegasscoreboardexpress.com. So without further ado, guys, we got to get you to the sports book to put the cash in your pocket. We all say it at one time, guys. Happy New Year and see you next year. Guys on the line, go ahead.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball,